Women are gaining financial independence and power at an unprecedented degree. Women make up the majority of college graduates. They are nearly half of the labor force and are becoming the primary breadwinners in many households. Yet most remain anxious or uninvolved when it comes to talking about investing and managing money. Well, Michael Bonds is a vice president and financial consultant with Charles Schwab and is going to break it down for us. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
I'm glad you're here with us because, you know, it's so true. Women are such a big part of the financial world, and yet they really don't get as involved when it comes to these discussions. So I want to first let our viewers know that you've been with the firm for 13 years. So how have you seen money management evolve with all the women around?
Well, I think Chuck started the firm back in the day simply to empower people, to demystify the investment world.
Yeah.
And I think over the years we've started to see more and more women start to take a more commanding role in that.
Okay.
But it still was a good old boys world,
Yeah.
and it's taken a while for women to kind of adjust to that.
I think women get intimidated sometimes. I know I could speak for myself in a conversation about finances with a group of men. So I want to know, is it true that 60% of the wealth in the U.S. is actually controlled by women?
It is true.
Wow.
And in addition to that, 3/4 of that is controlled by women over 50.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's about $1 trillion a day that's being controlled or influenced by women in their decision making.
Wow.
The interesting and the sad part about that, though, when it comes to household finance, is probably only about 67% of them are involved in making financial decisions in the household, and that's something that we're really trying to bring to the forefront.
Yeah,
you know, Schwab dedicated the month of May just for women in investing, and we've really made it a theme through the 2012 years to try to bring women in, help them understand the things that they're not understanding, and try to break through that anxiety that women seem to have when it comes to investing.
Why do you think that is? I mean, why do you think there is such a difference?
Yeah, I don't know. I think women inherently have some types of anxieties. Women are much different than men when it comes to that. Men seem to want to see the bottom line right away. They want to see the pluses and minuses, gains and loss.
Right.
Women are a lot more thoughtful when it comes to investing and the results that investing might have. So I think that just creates a bit of barrier for them at times, and we're trying to overcome that.
I think that's a great thing. And do you think that women are doing enough, though, to involve themselves? I know you said you're working on that now, but what are they lacking in as far as involving themselves in these household financial decisions?
At times, I think some women are getting involved in that, but more times than not, when couples visit me in my office, it's usually one spouse or the other, and generally it's the male side of that. But even in a partnership, we just don't see that they equally will take on the responsibility of financial decisions, and we're really trying to focus in on that, so that they feel comfortable with that, because inevitably life events happen, whether it's death or divorce, and you're already going to go through an emotional aspect of that, which is very, very cumbersome and very stressful. And then when you try to add finance on top of that, it's just better to try to be prepared and involved.
Right, and start young. Start young with that preparation. So how can women take control then over managing more of their personal financial decisions?
I think just try to be involved. If you have a financial person that you work with, a CPA, a financial advisor, a financial consultant, and your spouse is the one who's actually going to the meetings, interject yourself, demand that you be a part of that. And also just increase your vocabulary when it comes to investing. Just know the difference between stocks and bonds and mutual funds, those types of things. Some of the theories that are out there, like diversification, asset allocation, understand what that is when it's brought to the forefront. I think those will help break down the barriers and the anxiety that's there.
If somebody comes to you personally and they say, okay, can you break it down for me, would you be able to kind of educate them in more layman terms?
We do. We actually have seminars that are free to the public anytime that they want to join, and I have a lot of clients that come in my office for that specific reason. Help me understand how we're invested. Some of the things that women can really do is just ask the questions. Where is our money? Where's the savings account? Are we putting enough money away for retirement? Those are just basic things that you'd be surprised when women end up in my office. More times than not, it's because of a life event. And they haven't got a clue. They just have a pile of papers, and they're trying to figure out where everything is at and how it's being invested and the tax ramifications of it.
Well, Mike, what do you think that women's biggest fear about investing seems to be?
It's fear of loss and the unknown, really. Most of the time when I have clients in my office, it's because they just really don't have an understanding of that. And that's the greatest fear, I think. If they do interject themselves in the financial decision making, even in what I really encourage them, if one half of this couple doesn't bring the other, I encourage
Yes.
that, because if nothing else, it's a familiar face.
Sure.
But I really try to get them to be a partnership when it comes to making a financial plan.
Make the decisions together.
Make the decisions together, but also support each other in sticking to the plan. That's probably the most
That's
difficult
probably the
thing.
hardest part, sure. And for women who want to increase their knowledge in these financial areas, where do they begin?
Well, let's start with just the checklist. Some of the things I'd mentioned earlier, as far as, do I have a savings? Where is it? Do we have retirement accounts? How much are we putting away? How are they being invested?
Okay.
Some other things you can do is just try to attend seminars and workshops.
Sure.
You may have a pretty good working knowledge, and there's a lot of women who do, but sometimes you can get a little bit of tidbits that will help deepen that knowledge and understanding of that, and most companies like Schwab will provide those free of service.
Yeah, speaking of events and seminars, do you have one coming up that some people can attend?
We have quite a few.
Okay.
Actually, you can go to our website, which is just schwab.com, www.schwab.com.
Okay.
You put in your zip code, and it will list all of the events that we have available. And if you want to call our local office at 505-878-1320, you can ask about the events, and they'll range from anywhere from beginning investors all the way to estate planning and all the things in between. So.
Well, really enlightening information today, Mike. Thank you so much, and I hope people get on board with learning a little bit more about how to control their finances and understand them better. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
And stick around, because still ahead on New Mexico Style, is your job making you fat? We'll tell you how to get fit without even leaving your desk. Don't go away.